This is the part 6 for chapter 3 of Standard 8th, Force and Pressure. If you haven't watched the first 5 parts, please click on the link in the description box below.
So let's continue with this chapter. Do you know how is it decided that an object left in liquid will sink in the liquid, will float on the surface, or will float inside the liquid? So when you place an object inside a liquid, for example water, how will we know if that object will float on the surface of the water, or will sink in the water, or will float inside the liquid? So we can know this by 3 principles. The first is the object floats if the buoyant force is larger than its weight. So usually take this object as a blue box. So its weight is usually determined by the force of gravity. So if the buoyant force, that is this red force here, is larger than the green force, that is the force of gravity, then we will know for sure that the object will float on the surface of the liquid. The object sinks if the buoyant force is smaller than its weight. So, if this red force is lesser as compared to this green force, then the object will sink to the bottom because now the force of gravity, that is this green arrow, is exceeding the force of buoyancy, that is this red arrow. The object floats inside the liquid if the buoyant force is equal to its weight. So if the weight of the object, that is determined by the force of gravity, is equal to the force applied by the liquid around it, that is the buoyant force. If both of these are equal, it will cancel each other out, and therefore the object will float inside the liquid. It will not sink to the bottom, nor will it float on the surface of the liquid, but it will float inside the liquid. Archimedes' principle. So Archimedes was a scientist, and let's see now how he contributed to science. Try this. Take a long rubber band and cut it at one point. At one of its ends, tie a clean wash stone or a 50-gram weight as shown in the figure. So you have to take a rubber band and cut it at one end. And the other end you will tie a stone or even a 50-gram weight is fine. So any heavy substance you have to tie at one end and the other end you hold it. Now hold the other end of the rubber band and make a mark there. So wherever you hold it, you have to make a mark on the rubber band. Keep the stone hanging in air and measure the length of the rubber band from the stone to the mark made earlier. So wherever you hold it at that mark, from that mark to the stone you have to measure the length. When the stone is kept in air, freely hanging. Now take water in a pot and hold the rubber band at such a height that the stone sinks in it. Again measure the length of the rubber band up to the mark. So now what you do is you will take a pot or a bucket and fill it with water. And you hold the stone and the rubber band in such a way that the stone sinks in the water but does not touch the surface of the bucket. And you hold it at the same mark as made earlier. And again you have to measure the distance between the mark and the stone. What is observed? The length is shorter than the earlier length. So even as you can see in this picture, this will exactly happen the same when you try it by yourself also. Because the rubber band is stretchy, therefore when you place it in water, you will notice that the length decreases in size. So why does this happen? While dipping the stone in water, the length of the stretched rubber gets slowly reduced and is minimum when it sinks completely. So when you immerse this stone completely in the water, the length observed of the rubber band will be the minimum possible as compared to when it is placed hanging freely in air. When the stone is sunk in water, a buoyant force acts on it in the upward direction. The weight of the stone acts downwards. Therefore, the force which acts on it in the downward direction is effectively reduced. So let's see. When the stone is hanging in air, only gravitational force acts downwards. Therefore, the entire weight of the stone is pulling it towards the downwards direction. And therefore, the length of the rubber band is stretched at its maximum level. But when you place it in water, now whatever force was acting downwards will be present because the force of gravity does not change. And now what happens is a buoyant force acts in the upward direction. So earlier there was no buoyant force because there was no liquid around the stone. But now there is a buoyant force acting in the upward direction. So therefore now, because they are both in opposite directions, how much force is acting lower is reduced. So that is what they are telling here, that the force which acts on it in the downward direction is effectively reduced. How much is the magnitude of the buoyant force? So let us see now how much exactly is the force of this buoyant force. Is it the same for all liquids? Is the buoyant force of equal magnitude for all objects? The answer to these questions are embodied in Archimedes' principle. So Archimedes' principle basically explained all the different properties of the buoyant force. This principle states that when an object is partially or fully immersed in a fluid, a force of buoyancy acts on it in the upwards direction. This force is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. So let us understand what this exactly means. We will take an example of a glass which is filled with water up to the brim. That is, at the very edge of the glass also you have to fill the water. You have to fill it completely. So now when you put any object in it, for example a coin, you will observe that some amount of water falls out of the glass. So what Archimedes' principle is telling us, that when an object is partially or fully, so even if this coin is little bit inside the water and little bit outside the water, that is partially dipped inside or completely filled inside, some or the other water will fall out. Okay. When an object is partially or fully immersed in fluid, a force of buoyancy acts on it in the upwards direction. This force is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. So when the object is partially or fully immersed in the liquid, a force of buoyancy will act in the upwards direction. Okay, and this is what is causing some of the liquid to fall out. And this force would be equal to the weight of the liquid that is fallen out. So how much ever water fell out of the glass when the coin was dipped in it, that we have to weigh. And how much ever weight we get would tell us the force of buoyancy when that object is dipped in liquid. Introduction to a scientist. Archimedes was a Greek scientist and a mathematician with sharp intelligence. He found out the value of pi by numerical calculations. So, you must have heard of this pi, and this pi is nothing but 22 upon 7. And he found out this value by doing several calculations and experiments. And that is why he was very smart. That is, he had very sharp intelligence. His knowledge of levers, pulleys, wheels in physics was useful to the Greek army in fighting against the Roman army. So he used his knowledge of physics by making all these levers and pulleys and wheels so that it would help the Greek army in fighting against the Roman army. He became famous due to his work in geometry and mechanics. When he entered a bathtub for taking bath, he discovered the above principle by observing the overflowing water. So, his bathtub was completely filled with water up to the brim. And when he entered the bathtub, he realized that the moment he stepped into the bathtub, some water fell out. And when he completely immersed himself in the water, more water fell out of the bathtub. So, just by seeing this example, he was able to tell us the Archimedes principle that we just studied about. And he was able to tell us all the properties of buoyant force. He came out of the bathtub in the same state, shouting, "Eureka, Eureka!" meaning, "I found it, I found it." So because he found these answers, that is why he was very happy. So that is why he was just shouting, "Eureka, Eureka!" The use of Archimedes principle is very wide. Many people use this Archimedes principle even today. This principle has been used in the constructions of ships and submarines because in order to make the ship and its shape, we need to know the principles of Archimedes and the buoyant force in detail, and therefore his principle is used there. The instruments such as lactometer, hygrometer are based on these principles. Density of a substance and relative density. So, density is the property of different types of substances, and this density is equal to the mass of the substance upon its volume. The SI unit of density is kg per meter square because the unit of mass is kg and the unit of volume is meter square. Therefore, the unit of density would be kg per meter square. The property of density is very useful in deciding the purity of the substance because when we add other substances and mix them together, the density changes. So, in order to see how pure a substance is, it is very important to know its density. The relative density of a substance is expressed with respect to the density of water. Now, in order to get a relation between different types of densities of different objects, we use something called as relative density. In this, the density of the substance is compared to the density of water. So, the relative density of a substance would be the density of that substance upon the density of water. So, density of water will not change, but we can find the density of different objects. This being a ratio of two equal physical quantities has no unit because both these densities would be kg per meter square and hence it would get cancelled. Therefore, relative density has no units. Relative density of a substance, it's called its specific gravity. So, another name for relative density is specific gravity. In this, we compare density of the substance with respect to the density of water.
For the answers to this exercise and other free worksheets, please go to jkacademypro.com. This was the end of part 6. For the part 7 video, please click on the link in the description box below.